and I will be talking to you today about Ford Motor Company. First, let me remind you briefly about what Ford is all about. Ford is a company engaged in the development, manufacture, distribution, and service of vehicles, parts, and accessories worldwide. The company operates two sectors though, and that is financial services and automotive. First, let me show you about Ford Motor Company's income statement. The income statement consists of the gross profit, operating income or loss, and it concludes the net income. First, we have a total revenue of $32,445,000 in the first quarter, consistent on the second and third, and an almost $4 million increase of $36,424,000. From there, we remove our cost of revenue and we come to our gross profit, which was $5,591,000 on our first quarter, consistent on the second and third, and concluding with the last quarter of $5,012,000 on the last quarter. Then we had our operating income or loss. We had a $2,718,000 on the first quarter, consistent of $2 million on the second, $2 million on the third quarter, and then we had a loss of $1,573,000 on the last quarter. Next, we have our net income, and it was $1,396,000 on our first quarter, consisting of $1 million on the second and $1,600,000 on the third, and $1,598,000 on the last quarter. Our net income Next, we have our balance sheet, and in our balance sheet, we will have our assets, liabilities, and stockholders' equity. And if you remember, assets should equal your stockholders' equities and liabilities. Here we have our assets, current assets, and long-term assets, and together we have a total assets of $182,875,000, consisting of $181 million on the second quarter, $184 million on the third quarter, and an increase of almost $8 million of $190,554,000 on the last quarter. Next, we have our liabilities, including our current liabilities with our long-term liabilities. We have $165,469,000, consistent within the second and third quarter, and then an almost $10 million increase of $174,285 on the last quarter. Then we go down to our stockholders' equity, which is $16,606,000 on our first quarter, $1 million increase on the second, $1 million increase from the second to the third quarter, and $15,947,000 on the last quarter. Next, we go on to the cash flows. In the cash flows, we have our operating activities, investing activities, and the financing activities. And if you remember, the net income was in the millions for all quarters. And then we go down to our total cash flow and it was $2,075,000 on the first quarter, $3,904,000 on the second quarter, $3,427,000 on the third, and a negative $361,000 on the last quarter. We go down to we have negatives in all for investing activities, and that is in a 4,351. And then we go on to the financing, and it was a positive on the first quarter, a negative and negative on the second and third, and then we have a whopping $4,087,000 on the last quarter. Next, we go to the conclusion, and I conclude that they continue to be a leading force to its competitors. If you compare the stock price, they had a $12.95 a share this year of 2012 and a $10.76 share for 2010. That's 20% increase, and they've been doing very well, and they will probably be doing very well continuing next year. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.